Hi, Chris here. We're going to do a little bit of stuff on basic Desmos graphing calculator. But first we're just going to work with a scientific calculator, and then we're going to do some graphing later on. So just the scientific calculator is a basic calculator. You can use a Casio the exact same way. Each calculator is slightly different. I like this one online because we can see what's going on. We're going to do some basic calculations. So I can do like 3 plus 4, and it shows up there. If I want a new line, I'm going to hit the little enter button here, and I've got a new line. And I can do things like 5 times 9 minus 3, whatever I want to do. I'll see the numbers as I go through there. I can always go back and edit things. So if I went back to the 4 and I said, no, I want that to be a 9, it's going to update for me in live action here. And I can do other things like squared and whatever else. So I can do like 2 squared plus 3 squared. I get the number there. If I want to change that little 2 instead of squared, I can make that a 3. I can do that as well. I'm going to hit enter, or I could do like 2 squared plus 3. If I want to the power of 3, I can say a to the b, and that highlights this up into the exponent. I can do the same thing that way too. Okay. Similarly, I can do square root things. There's the square root of 5. If I keep typing in here, I stay underneath the line, or if I just hit backspace, or I can use this as a backspace, I can use my arrow key on my keyboard, or I can click away to say I want to get outside of that square root sign. And I can even do things like the cube root. So here's what's called the nth root. So put a little 3 there. That's the cube root of 9 if I wanted to. Sometimes these numbers get really huge, but what if I want to use that number in my next calculation? I don't want to type that in again. I can just hit little ANS, means the answer, and whatever that answer was, I could times that by 9 or whatever I want to do. And the last one is in fractions. I can use my fractions by saying 3 divided by 5, and gives me the slash is the divide by sign. Or I can even have more things up on the numerator there, 3 plus 4 divided by 5. Okay. Or I can use the fraction button right here, a over b, and it starts with a fraction. I can have 5 times 7, and to get into the bottom part, I can just click there or use my arrow keys on my keyboard and move around that way as well. Later on in trigonometry, we're going to into some other functions, so I'm just going to show it here quickly now. We can do functions like sine of 90 and cosine of 45 and all that kind of stuff too. So we'll look at those as we get into trig into unit 6.